What's up, guys? PKSparkxx here, and welcome back to another installment, the third one in a row, to Dat Hott Top 5. Aren't you glad that I'm actually being consistent with these top 5s? That makes me so happy. Makes me feel all good inside. With that said, Dat Hott Top 5 is taking a hiatus next week. Womp womp. Now listen, you already know that this Friday, Super Mario Odyssey begins. We are going on a week-long binge throughout the entire kingdoms they have in store for us on this channel. 5 episodes on Friday, 3 on Saturday and Sunday, and then double uploads every single day next week until next Friday. Now, afterwards, Dat Hott Top 5 is going to upload at normal. It's going to upload Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, you're not going to get a new episode next week, but you will be getting an episode next week, or the week after that. So, make sure that you come through with y'all support, and let me know what game you want to see next week. Now, you guys voted for Mario Party 3 this week, but I have to make a case for Mario Party 10 minigames. Let me show you why Mario Party 10 minigames are great. The board game sucks. The minigames are great. They don't deserve your hate, trust me. So if you guys want to see that, go on and type vote MP10 in the comments. However, if you still don't like MP10, you don't like Mario Party 10 at all, you want to see my top 5 minigames for Mario Party 4, make sure you type vote MP4 in the comments. But without further ado, before a little bit more further ado, if you guys enjoy yourselves, demolish the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, make sure that you ring that bell to get notified of the next episode. But without further ado, this time, let's get into number 5. Number 5 on my top 5 Mario Party 3 minigames list goes to Awful Tower. Now, this is a stage that, despite its name, I freaking love. You know why? Because it is a platforming minigame. The point of the minigame is you start at the bottom, and there are blocks that move up and down, and there are some in the middle, some on the left, and some on the right. And you have to find the right path to get up to the top. Now, unfortunately, the path is always the same. I'm pretty sure in other iterations of games that have this sort of formula, they have different blocks, so it's different every time you play it. At least 5 or 10, you know? So, but in this one, Awful Towers just rocks out. I love it because it's just a quick platforming challenge, and I love platforming. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I love platformers. So I love the platforming challenge in this one. And then it's also added a little bit of skill to it, because you gotta make sure you watch out for the hammer bro dropping the hammers on you, because if you get hit by one, it'll most likely catch you over a pit, because that's normally where the hammers are thrown at, and it'll just knock you right down. So you have to make sure you're timing your jumps right with the moving platforms, that you're throwing it left to right, that you're evading the hammers, and get to the top. You have 60 seconds for this minigame, but you really should not need it, because it's, I mean, again, if you're good enough with your platform and your timing, you should be able to knock it out. I know me and my friends, whenever we would play this minigame, we would always rock out with it. But Awful Tower is still just a really fun minigame. It's a pure platforming challenge. But again, I love platformers. You make anything platform, and I'm instantly going to love it. You want me, like, listen, you want me an easy PKSparkxx starter pack or happy pack? This is what you need. Rice Krispie treats, sugar cookies, and some platformers. In Mario Party 3, Awful Towers got some platformers. Now, can someone bring me some Rice Krispie, please? Number 4 on my top 5 Mario Party 3 minigames goes to Motor Rooter. I never understood the point of this name. I think the rooter comes from the fact that we're in a pipe. I get the motor part. We're in like little motorized shells, and I think the rooter comes to that. But I never thought it was a really good name. With that said, I really do love this minigame. It is a 1v1 minigame when you are going at your opponent and you're in a shell to try and get to the end of the racetrack. Now, it's not that, of course, it's not going to be that simple. There are bruised panels all over the warp pipe, and you have little electrical currents that you can actually see where they're located at on the little track thing that's in the middle of the screen, so you can see both your opponent and your progress. But those little circle things aren't just something, little obstacles you have to jump over the electrical tracks. No. See, in this stage, in this mini game, you can ride anywhere. You have 8 lanes you can go over. And you can go from the bottom, you can be on the left of the wall, you can be on the right side of the wall, you can be upside down on the ceiling driving, and of course, any lane in between. And while you're doing that, you have to make sure you're catching the boost panels so you can keep your speed at 5 notches. Or you have to make sure you are avoiding the electrical tracks that are in your way, because if you hit them, they slow your speed all the way down to 1 notch. So you have to know the track, you have to be able to react, you have to make sure you're getting your speed up, and you got to make sure you're doing this all better than your opponent, because if your opponent doesn't mess up, you can't mess up. If you mess up and you're at 5 notches, when you get hit by a current, you're automatically down to the first one. So it's a pretty decent game. Gotta know what you're doing, gotta know how to play, and it's always been competitive for me. It's one of those games where, especially being 1v1, there's nobody else you can blame if you lose except yourself. So you gotta play well, you gotta play good, and if you lose, the better man won. You can't be mad about that. But Motor Rooter, to me, this is a mini game that whenever I get it, I'm just like, yo, I'm about to destroy you. But I most likely got destroyed myself because my reaction skills are the greatest. Wait, it doesn't matter. Listen, I wasn't bad at that minigame, and I love it. Alright, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just not good at turning a negative into a positive. My life is sad. Number 3 on my top 5 Mario Party 3 minigames goes to Snowball Summit. Now this minigame is one that I actually really do enjoy because it reminds me of Bumper Balls, except guess what? It requires more skill. Now let me tell you the basics of this minigame. You are on a mountain. Of course you can get knocked off just like Bumper Balls. You gotta make sure you knock them off. However, you're not just trying to bump into them with imaginary momentum that doesn't really exist and gives you no real Bumper Balls suck. But on Snowball Summit, excuse me, I was listening to Snowball City music earlier, just don't mind me. Anyway, Snowball Summit, this minigame, you have to build up a snowball. So you gather snow by hitting a button and you build a snowball. But then the notorious line, building the snowball, comes into play. Because with this one, you have to roll your snowball around, and as you move your snowball around, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, with the bigger your snowball is, the more knockback it's going to have when it hits somebody in any way, whether it's in the face, whether it's in the behind, or anywhere on the side. If you hit your opponent, it's going to have some crazy knockback. The bigger you make it, the bigger the knockback. The smaller it is, the smaller the knockback. Now, not only do you just roll the snowball around, you can throw it as well. So you can try to avoid your opponent and just get a big snowball that you can push at everybody else and hopefully get somebody who's hiding on the edge or something like that. You can also defend yourself by building any size snowball. If you have a snowball that's small and is going up against the biggest snowball, you'll still defend yourself. If you also have a way to where you can build it and then roll around, or just try to get a mini knockout so you can just push someone towards the edge because all their friends are dead. Or, I'm telling you, this is my favorite thing. My favorite thing about Snowball Summit is that it reminds me of Bumper Balls, except it actually requires some thought and some skill and some patience and some planning and some timing. There's nothing that I enjoy more than a game that actually has purpose, that requires some sort of knowledge to actually be good at. And Snowball Summit does it. It reminds me of a game that I kind of like, but the end result, the way you win, is really bullcrap when it gets down to 1v1. But even in 1v1, you can still get a win on Snowball Summit. This minigame is great. It's one of the most well-perfected minigames in all of Mario Partydom. It's just so much fun, and I just love it. It requires skill. Mario Party 3 minigames actually require skill, but this one is definitely up there. Number 2 on my top 5 Mario Party 3 minigames list goes to Aces High. Now, you remember how in the last installment of the Hot Top 5 Mario Party 2 minigames, number 1 was Shell Shocked. Now, Aces High is Shell Shocked, except you can go high, you can go low, you can go left and right, and you have more shots. Like, forget lobbing. We are having homing bullet bills going at your opponents. You are in the sky, you are in a jet, and you're taking shots at your opponents, and they're flying around all the same. You don't know if they're above you, you don't know if they're below you, and the only thing you have is a top-down view map that shows their general position, but you don't know if they're above you or below you. And the worst part is, or the best part is, depending on your point of view, is that when you're playing this game, suddenly you just hear beep, 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 beep. Someone threw a homing bill at you, and you gotta make sure you evade that. And the reason why, while you're trying to evade that, your opponent could be right behind you, gunning you down. And unfortunately for you, nobody in the Mario chat was trained by Peppy. You don't have no barrel roll or aileron roll, if you want to be technical. You don't have any of that. You can't do a loop-de-loop or nothing. You just gotta hope you dodge it by going left or right, and hope that your opponent has terrible aim. Aces High is literally everything I love about Shell Shocked, but better. Aces high is that gunner that you're just going in with your opponent. 60 seconds on the clock, everybody get their own screen, everybody going towards each other, but then they're launching bullet bills and launching shots. I'm telling y'all, I freaking love this mini game. But if I love this mini game as much as I love Shell Shocked, and Shell Shocked was number 1, I'm sorry, if I love this mini game more than I love Shell Shocked, and Shell Shocked was number 1 in Mario Party 2, then what the heck is number 1 now? Now, this mini game, I am not sure if you can relate to or not. I once again forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, but let me know your top 5 Mario Party 3 mini games in the comment section below, along with your votes for next week's game. But this mini game, I don't know if many of you guys could relate to it, but personally, this is like one of the few mini games in Mario Party I've actually grinded at to get better. My number 1 Mario Party 3 mini game goes to Frigid Bridges. Now, Frigid Bridges is a game where you have no time limit. The only time you have is how quickly your opponents are going to be able to finish the game as well. The point of Frigid Bridges is to take an ice block from the very beginning, walk along the ice path, avoiding the cheap cheats, get to the end, drop a block, run all the way back, get another block, and repeat until you have all 3 blocks from one end to the other, and build a bridge to the center island where you will be declared the winner. Now, it sounds easy in concept, so why do I love it so much? Because of the competition that I got with my friends and family over this game. Oh my God! I'm telling y'all, I grinded to make sure I knew how to cut each corner. I knocked this mini game out, and I'm only sad. The one thing I hate about this mini game is that there is no time limit. You can't get a record on it, like you finished it in 23 seconds or 22 seconds or 21 or something like that. Because if so, I'm pretty sure I would still be playing this right now, trying to get a world record. That's how much I love Frigid Bridges. And not to mention, the name is nice. Frigid Bridges. Fidget Bridges. Frigid Bridges. I said fidget. Get mad. Yo, I'm telling y'all, I just had so much fun with this mini game, and I definitely do not regret putting this on my list. I love that this one exists, and I can't say there's been any other mini game like Frigid Bridges since the original. This mini game is just so good in all matters. So if you haven't played this yet, this has to be on your number 1. If it's not, I'll actually be disappointed. But at the same time, I'll be shocked if it is, because I don't think many people like it. I know I do. It's my number 1. Hope you guys like it too. And that is going to end it for my top 5 Mario Party 3 mini games list. Now, I have to make one more bid because I still love the games in Mario Party 10, but I know a lot of you guys may not, but I gotta make a bid. If you guys could, let me show you why I love the mini games in Mario Party 10. Vote MP10 in the comments. But if you're just like, screw Mario Party 10 and screw your interest in those mini games, then you know what? Make sure you guys vote MP4. Type vote MP4 in the comments, so that way next week I'll give you guys my top 5 list for Mario Party 4. But for now, it's time for me to dip. Make sure you guys check out all the other content. Just a quick reminder that there will not be a top 5 next week, because next week, Odyssey Week begins, and it all starts this Friday. But again, for now, it's time for me to dip. Stay hot, guys, and I'll see y'all next time.